far as channels go, ours kind of sucks. So I'm just gonna preface this by saying that a far superior channel called YourMovieSucks.org started kind of a trend.
That's like the 4th time you've tried to say that.
Yeah, it came out as socks every other time. But yeah, they started a trend called childhood trauma, where people kind of talk about what scared them as kids or youngins. So we're gonna talk about that today.
Yeah.
This video is gonna be all about you. So let us have it. What the hell scared a veritable man squid?
Yeah.
When he was youngin'.
Well, I want to start with.
Is there an order to this? First of all,
not really. Nope.
Willy nilly. All right.
Just gonna throwing shit out there.
Let's go.
I could have put it into an order, but that requires work.
Yep.
Clearly, we would put 0 into our vids.
Yep. We're not about effort here.
No. So, I want to start with honorable mentions.
Okay. That's usually left towards the ass end, but since we're throwing convention out the
window,
matter.
Doesn't matter. So I want to start with one that kind of makes sense.
All right.
The Beyond.
The Beyond.
By Full Size Lives.
Okay, for anyone that doesn't know, which is
literally the most in joke of all time.
Yep. It's a reference to a video that no one will ever see. But yeah, for anybody that doesn't know, which is a lot of people, because you know, Italian horror in general is kind of niche. But
Italian horror is like a whole another level.
Lucio Fulci directed a kind of like surreal zombie movie back in the 80s, and it's not your standard zombie fare in terms of, you know, gut eating. It's really surreal is really the way to go.
Pretty spooky.
It's bizarre. Yeah, it's really bizarre.
Now,
what about the whole thing?
I haven't seen it in years.
Right.
So I saw this when I was youngin', a young squid, and I remember the scene where they show hell, or what is supposed to be hell, spooking me.
Yeah. The movie ends that way. You know, you see that scene before on a painting.
Yeah.
But it literally ends with everything going to hell. Like the lines of reality are blurred, and yeah, I get that. That is a pretty spooky scene.
It was spooky, so that one kind of makes sense, especially when you're a kid.
I get it.
Now, here's one where maybe some people are with me on it, and I don't know, I didn't really look into it because again, we do 0 research.
We're good at that.
The Pee-wee Herman classic film.
Yeah.
Pee-wee's Big Adventure.
Large Marge, right?
Large Marge.
Yeah. I've met quite a few people that are afraid of this.
Now, it was when I was a kid. I grew out of it, obviously.
Yeah.
But when I was a kid, when I was a kid, I was like, "That's pretty spooky."
Yeah, would you look away or what the fuck?
Yeah, I would.
I know you used to like the movie a lot, so
yeah,
you must have looked away plenty of times.
Well, first of all, the setup to it, that little scene where she's talking about it, kind of spooked me. And then when the thing happened, but I would mostly watch the whole scene. I would just skip through or like look away.
I wouldn't say it scared me. Well, actually, it didn't scare me, so I'm not even going to say that at all. But the only thing that approximates that with me is the Twilight Zone movie, which has the kind of like the wraparound story with Dan Aykroyd in the car. It didn't scare me, but I was aware that it was coming, and every time I got the jump scare out of it.
Yeah.
Not the legit, you know, I'm freaked out scare, but the jump scare. So I kind of can empathize. But Large Marge doesn't scare me.
I'll
mock you for it.
That was a bit where I dreaded in the movie because yes, I used to love the movie. I used to watch it all the time.
I remember that. Next.
This one again, I grew out of pretty quickly.
Is this still an honorable mention?
Yes, still honorable mention.
All right, go ahead.
There's 2 more.
All right, that's a big-ass list, but okay.
Yeah, I grew out of it really quickly, but it still spooked me at the beginning. The librarian from Ghostbusters, when it spooks, goes like that.
Man, you got some weak-ass...
these are honorable mentions, and these were when I was a feline.
A feline?
Fetus, I meant.
A fetus, all right.
All right, and the next one makes 0 sense. And no one will know.
All right.
Longe moco.
¿Qué tal? Yo soy el longe moco.
All right, let me give a little background to anybody that gives a fuck, which is nobody.
Nope.
There was a show called, what was it called?
De vez en cuando?
Yeah, a Mexican comedy skit show, kind of a surreal comedy skit show.
Yeah.
Called De Vez en Cuando.
With Eugenio Derbez, which is showing up now over here.
Yeah, well, he's doing a crossover now. But back then he was a comedian, or he still is, I guess. But anyway, and he had this skit show, and they would typically end with one of 2 skits.
Yeah.
Him portraying the devil's child, doing a variety of pranks and you know,
damning people and
hijinks.
It
was just basically they'd show like videos of shit going wrong, fail videos, and he would there's
right.
fail videos before
You're
fail
right,
videos,
yeah.
and he's presumably he'd be the cause behind it and blah blah blah, but or the other one, which was kind of a riff on, he did a lot of riffs on American stuff actually.
Yeah.
It was a riff on Tales from the Crypt, namely the Crypt Keeper, but it was his take on it. Now,
It's dumb.
yeah, it's dumb because this is the stupidest looking character of all time.
Super stupid.
And his name literally translates. His name's Longe Moko. Now it's a play on. It's not really a play on words. They just switch around the first two letters. So really, his name translates to Booger Monk.
Yeah. Yep.
But with the letters switched around, so Mooger Bunk.
So
And this guy scared you.
So, see, they used. I kind of have to explain because they used to show this show like around 10 or 11.
Yeah.
It was pretty late. It was after the news on Univision, and I would always stay up to watch it. My grandma would go to sleep, but when that pit would come up, she was already asleep, and I was like, God damn it! Now I gotta turn off the damn TV, and it's dark, and Law and Moko is gonna come out with this big ass wart.
What the fuck, man?
And it's like the corniest jokes ever.
Yep.
Still used to scare me. So those are my honorable mentions.
Yeah, that's embarrassing.
I'll probably put in a picture of Lohimoko because you got to see it. Now,
Okay, here's Granddaddy Lit.
Here's-
Yeah, whoa.
now I gotta start with
Alright.
I gotta start with a weird one
Okay, go ahead.
to continue my trend of nonsense. Rugrats.
Rugrats, huh?
Yeah,
Like the cartoon,
like
the
the
Nickelodeon
cartoon, the
cartoon.
Rugrats.
Well, I mean, I guess they're kind of drawn weird. I guess.
Well, it was in Spanish.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it
I
was,
get it.
whew,
Yeah, that makes total sense.
it was scary. There was something about the edit, the sub. What's it called? The
Dubbing.
dubbing, and then there was. It seemed that they added like a droning sound, like Evil Dead style droning sound.
Like Eraserhead style.
Yeah, it was like throughout. And I was like, what the hell is this? And they would always show like towards the end of the day, and I was like, God, this freaking show sucks, and I hate it. Still hate Rugrats to this day.
I'm gonna go ahead and say that really you could put any show like that as long
Yeah.
as it was an animated tune from the late '90s translated for Spanish television.
Yeah,
There was a freaky, weird feeling to it.
it really was.
I get it. All right.
Rugrats in particular for me.
Yeah. All right.
Now,
Fair enough.
I should have brought the cover, but the next one is another Italian film, Burial Ground. The Nights of Terror.
I remember this. You were horribly afraid of it. I wanted to see it with you, and
Yeah.
you refused to see it.
This is when I was still iffy about horror. 'Cause
Yeah.
I was very like
you were
a puss.
Yeah. For lack of
I mean,
better
freaking
words.
Rugrats scared me.
Yeah. But I remember there was crying fits
Yeah.
over this.
It really
No,
was.
I don't want to see it.
And you'd think it'd be over the movie.
Nope.
It was just the cover.
Yeah. Which, by the way, I guess is a spooky cover, like if you just see it. But,
It was like an evil zombie going like this.
yeah, evil
I'll
zombies
splice-
going like this.
I'll
It's pretty much.
I'll splice it in. But yeah, that spooked me.
Yeah, and then you saw it.
And then I saw the movie, and it was a piece of shit. It was terrible.
Yeah.
This is actually the movie I credit for me being able to see any horror movies. Because I was...
So something good came out of Burial Ground.
because it was so bad and funny that I was like, well, can't judge anything by the cover, because...
Yep.
Woo! Mama! So that's my number 2. My
Alright.
number 3 is, it kind of fits into the Rugrats theme.
Okay.
Courage the Cowardly Dog.
Oh,
that
yeah.
that was a cartoon with spooks. Now imagine that added with this weird ass Spanish dub.
Oh, you saw it in Spanish on top of that?
Yes, I actually recently bought season 1 in English, and it wasn't as effective.
Yeah.
It's still good, mind you,
That's
but
that
the
Spanish
Spanish
thing,
dub
man.
was woo.
I will say this: I saw Courage. I mean, I wasn't young, like your age. It was, aimed at your age group when
Yeah.
it came out. I was already like in my 20s when it came out, or getting there anyway. And I was still like, man, there's a weird vibe to this. I mean, it didn't scare me,
Yeah,
but I was
this-
like, how the fuck are kids gonna watch this? This is pretty spooky for a kid.
Despite the first episode sucking with
Yeah,
Mr.
first
Katz,
episode's trash.
the show's pretty spooky, and in particular, I remember one episode that spooked me, and I looked it up recently just to make sure.
Mhm.
I did actually do research for once.
It happens.
But that's the only time. The demon in the mattress episode,
Mm-hmm.
which is where the old lady, I forgot her name, calls in for a new mattress because theirs sucks, and it just happens to be possessed, or there's like a demon living in it, and it possesses her, and creepy hijinks ensue. But the voice that she made, which is still spooky in English, but in Spanish, woo! She was terrifying.
I wonder who these people are that dub these shows.
I don't know, man. It's some Satan man.
Satan man coming soon.
So that was a spooky one.
All right.
The next one is more a moment in a movie, but I just put it down as the movie.
Okay.
Again, we saw this when I was very young.
All right.
Wendigo.
Oh yeah, Larry Fessenden movie, indie movie. Not a lot of people know about it.
Sure, no one's seen it.
But I will credit you this, even as a seasoned horror aficionado, it was a genuinely creepy movie. Again, didn't scare me, but there was a vibe to it, that was an atmosphere to it.
Yeah,
but I seem to remember that you were pretty much scared of the way it appeared, right? Or
yeah, I think so. There's like, if I remember correctly, I may be wrong, but if I remember correctly, they're driving down a road at some point, and it's chasing them.
Yeah.
That spooked me. And then there was a point where something happened with trees that spooked me. And I remember that because I was scared of trees for a while.
And I remember you had to walk from my place to
the house.
to your house, and
there's a big ass tree. There's literally two humongous old ass trees out there, and it was around the fall where they're dead and spooky
in
looking.
the wind.
Yeah, that sucked. Anyway, good movie.
I like how I didn't escort you, by the way. I was like, oh,
no, you're just like, freaking get the Wendigo. You actually mocked me. You're like, you would go, Wendigo. And I was like, what the flip is this theme?
That was my cheap way of not buying a costume and going full out and scaring you. Just make a song about it.
Lazy from the beginning, yeah?
Yep.
All right. The next one is actually an entire film.
Okay.
Prince of Darkness, John Carpenter.
Ah, yes. Very nice. Definitely an atmospheric pick.
That's spooking.
Mm-hmm. I can grant you that one.
I was scared of mirrors for a while. Just so happened that the bed I slept in at the time had a massive mirror right above the pillow. So that was cool. Anyway, the message at the end from, I guess, the future or whatever, that scared the shit out of me too.
Yeah.
Really, the whole movie's scary shit.
Yeah, the whole thing's pretty creeptastic. Let's just go with that.
That's a word. The next one is... Well, this is very specific. I don't know if anybody can relate to this, but to be fair, my list has sucked so far.
It has that.
The David Lynch, and it's really hard to explain. It's a David Lynch short from a DVD that you bought of all his pre-movie shorts.
Okay.
And it is literally just a shot of, I guess, these 4 head paintings with these droning sound over and over, like sirens, I think. And the painting just kind of deteriorates.
Yeah.
And it loops for like 10 minutes straight. Or at least it felt like 10. It felt like 2 hours. And it just kept looping and looping. And for some reason, that freaking scared the shit out of me because of the freaking monotonous loop of the sound, I guess.
That's a pretty good one, actually.
I seem to have a weakness for looping things spooking me. So that was a scary one.
Yeah. I mean, I remember. I'm trying to remember the name of the short.
Yeah, I don't know, but it was spooky.
Yeah, it's in a DVD called The Short Films of David Lynch, and yeah, I mean, I could see it being disturbing or distressing.
It was disturbing, and then it's funny because there were still like, I think, like 5 more, 10 more shorts after that, and none of them were as effective. I was just like, wow, this kind of sucks now. Not because of the shorts themselves, because I was so spooked from the first one that the rest were just kind of like not that weird anymore. And same with Eraserhead. We saw Eraserhead shortly after it. I was like, it's not as spooky as that short. That being said, Eraserhead's weird. Next one is a scene from Hellraiser 2.
Okay.
Where the chick looks over to a wall, and there is what you told me is her dad now.
Oh, yeah.
Skinned. Writing on the wall, I am in hell, help me. And it spooked the shit out of me.
You know,
I was scared of white walls for a while.
Not kind of in a similar vein. It didn't spook me, but it was kind of like it gave me a weird vibe every time I saw it in Hellraiser 2 when Julia returns and Dr. Chenard like wraps her up and she's in a dress, and he finally comes out to see her after she's wrapped up because she's skinless too. And she, you know, it's like this shot and she's in the distance, and Chenard comes into the foreground and he's just looking at her, admiring her, and she looks at him behind these bandages and she goes, well, and that's it. And there's like this silence. For some fucking reason that unnerved me. Didn't scare me, but it unnerved me.
It had some creepy moments.
It did. It did.
It had some creepy, but that was the one. I also debated on putting the bit in Hell, where there's like all these bodies coming out on like
on
tables
slabs.
and they're going like this.
Yeah.
That spooked me. But I put this one because that one actually did scare me. Now, okay, this one doesn't make any sense. And it's hard to explain.
Shoot.
But our grandmother,
Okay.
Mexican old lady, as one does, it doesn't even make sense, used to have this monkey. Not a real monkey, not a real capuchin.
Yeah, I was about to say.
Not a real capuchin, as they say. But it was this little, like, rubber monkey that I guess had like a bendy tail.
Yeah.
And I guess she had it for like eons, because Mexicans don't let go of anything. And
She was a hoarder.
yeah, and it had like the paint had peeled off, so it kind of looked like grotesque skin.
It was like a dirty brown, if I remember.
Yes,
correctly.
dirty brown with some like green, so it looked like rotting skin, and all the details had kind of come off of it, so it was just like this gross, smooth thing with a tail that was cut off at the top.
Yeah. Tip.
And it was
I
like
remember this monkey.
it was on its four legs, and she used to have it in the cuartito, as we called it, which was just a spooky ass den of junk, basically, which you had to traverse to get to the restroom. You'd probably shit yourself before you got to the restroom because it was spooky as shit. And there was like this little drawer she had in it. You would open it, and the first thing you would see was a spooky ass monkey. So what the hell's up with this goddamn monkey? Spooky as shit.
So long before Family Guy appropriated your culture, as the SJWs would say, you were the one that feared the monkey.
That monkey was Satan himself. Now, if I remember correctly, the only thing that had color in it was its eyes.
Yeah,
which
they were like
red.
red. Yeah.
They were red eyes.
Monkey eyes.
They were freaking spooky, man. And now I could avoid this thing because again, it was kept in his hell cell. But at some point, Grandma decided to bring it out into the living room, and it was always looking at me, and I hated it.
Yeah, I remember the monkey.
I eventually grew out of
Vividly.
it, but that monkey was woo. That was a spookin'.
All right.
Now we don't have a visual aid, unfortunately, but just imagine the hell monkey.
That monkey, I don't know where that monkey went.
Hell, probably.
That's a good question. Yeah, it returned home.
The next one is this is one of my earliest memories of being spooked, if by a film. Creepshow.
Creepshow.
The scene at the end of the first story, Father's Day, where the zombie guy finally comes out
With the cake.
and says his line. I remember being so spooked I actually ran out crying.
It's Father's Day, and I got my cake. Happy Father's Day.
Didn't watch Creepshow for a while.
You know, Creepshow is made in such a tongue-in-cheek way, but spoiler alert, it's gonna be on my list too in my video, and not for that reason, but yeah, for such a tongue-in-cheek approach to you know, like it's an homage to old EC comics,
Yeah.
which they themselves were very humorous despite their morbid content. It has a lot. There's scenes in there for some reason that are unsettling. Like I thought the theme was scary.
Yeah, the theme.
You know?
Really, that scene in the beginning with, I guess, the Crypt Keeper. No, it's not. The Creepshow Creeper. I think it's just called the Creeper,
yes,
right?
That's the creep.
Whatever. The Creep, where the puppet, where he's going like that, and it like transitions
Yeah.
into that animation with the music. That was really spooky. But the part that scared me was that bit at the end of the first story. Now, I think it's because at the time I was very young and I didn't understand the context of it. I didn't get to see
Just
like,
the image itself.
Yeah, it was just the image. Like I didn't understand any of the tongue in cheekness or any of that. So just the image itself scared the shit out of me. And then, but I will say that I do share something with you, which we'll go into in your video, where that kind of actually spooked me later on when I saw the rest of the movie. I also hate roaches, but that last one kind of sucked. The next one is, and this is my final one, my number one.
All right.
This is the only one that is actually placed accordingly in the list. Because I still scared of this freaking thing.
What the fuck?
It is Satan himself. I want to
Right.
kill it. And it doesn't make any sense. Now, I'm a Popeye fan. Connoisseur, even. I've recently purchased a lot of Popeye.
Okay.
But I used to... at one point, it's Popeye related, so spoiler there. At one point, I used to go to the library, and they used to have this big book, Smithsonian collection of comic strips, I believe.
Yeah, try to steal that from the library once.
I looked for this thing for 10 years and I finally found it recently, and it still scares me. I was reading the Popeyes because I am a Popeye fan, as I have established before, and I reached the point where Alice the Goon comes up.
Yeah. Now, for those of you that don't know, explain Alice the Goon.
Alice the Goon is like a goon. It's like this old, like primitive.
Yeah, it's kind of like a. Let me have a go at
like
it.
a caveman.
Yeah, it's kind of like a primeval kind of tribal creature that belongs to a tribe
of goons.
Goons, and they're just basically like naked.
I'm very uncomfortable talking about it, Bert. I'm not gonna lie.
They're like 9 foot tall or something, right?
They're like insanely tall.
Yeah, they're super tall. They got like ovoid heads with a huge hanging
massive
nose.
like dick nose. I have to splice an image into this
beady eyes.
because you have to appreciate the spookiness of it. Now, no one's gonna get it. I don't get it. But when I got to that bit in the story, which unfortunately is a huge part of it, I gave up. I freaking quit that shit. I hated it.
You know, I have a theory about Alice the Goon. Have you ever heard Alice the Goon talk in the cartoons?
Isn't it like...
Yeah, kind of. I think that goons are the Peanuts characters' adults.
God, it's disgusting.
Yeah. Think about it. Just get Charlie Brown and add 9 feet to him, and he's a goon, basically.
Oh, shit, he is, yeah.
Yeah, there you go. Little terror for you.
Now, I want to add to this goon thing. I recently bought several collections of Popeye.
Mm-hmm.
Thankfully, in the first one, there was rarely a goon to be seen. But there's goons coming. I know in the third one, they go to Goon Island.
I like how the first story in the first collection you bought had a goon at the end.
Had a goon, yeah.
And the second story had a goon at the beginning.
Yeah. Now, I will say that when they're wearing clothes, they don't spook me as much. But when they're naked, scared. Even there's a story in which the finale is that there's a horse under a hood who's been boxing. You know the one. I thought it was a goon. Scared me.
The fuck?
Now, again, I dread the story in which the goons come in, but I know I'm going to have to read it. Maybe I can conquer this goon fear. But I also have to add that I am a fan of The Goon, Dark Horse Comics, The Goon.
Which has nothing to do with this.
No, but it is related. And as a fan, I have searched The Goon plenty of times on Amazon because I was trying to find the figures and the comics. And for some ass reason, Alice the Goon always is the top result. So every time I'm searching for some cool-ass Goon comics and or figs, Alice the Goon's hideous face comes up. That's scary. So Alice the Goon is still terrorizing me to this day. Hopefully I can get past it. But I don't think I can.
I think I know what I'm going to be for Halloween.
You piece of shit, you changed my wallpaper on my phone to Alice the Goon once. It's freaking scared the shit out of me.
I was privy to the goon fear.
Point is, that's
well,
my list.
There you go.
Alice
That's the list. We're going to do a second video with my fears. Or my childhood trauma.
Is Alice the Goon in there?
Definitely not.
That's unfortunate.
And maybe we'll do one with what's his stupid face, the Guardian, who has vanished as of late.
Yeah, no shit.
But he'll be back here on for some, or actually by the time we post this, he will have already returned.
Yeah.
So this comment will have made no sense.
Yep.
The point is, check out the other videos about childhood trauma. This has been the GoonTick's list of crap. If you like this, subscribe, pass it around, share it, something, and let us know. What do you fear?
That was the Goon.